looks like we're good. And the first team is Watchful Eye. So if you guys are ready to go, you can get that going.
Should we screen share and then just play the video?
Yeah, so sorry, yeah. For context, the way this session is going to go is we're going to try to keep it pretty close to what you would experience with the judging session. So I'm going to time these, and we'll keep it at the 4 minutes for your video, and then 4 minutes for responses and feedback from our pseudo judges today, Nicola and Mark. So let me just get that timer set up, and then you can start.
All right, thank you.
Sure. All right, do you want to go ahead?
Yep.
Yeah, you can share.
All right, here we go.
This is the Watchful Eye. The Watchful Eye allows Aave debt holders to set an automated stop loss based on the risk factors of their loans. The Watchful Eye uses an oracle that monitors the prices of the debt and collateral and compares it to the user-defined stop loss. Once the stop loss is reached, the oracle calls upon the Watchful Eye to use an Aave flash loan to repay the pre-existing debt, swap the collateral for the flash loaned asset on the 1-inch DEX, and then repay the flash loan asset with the proceeds from the swap.
To use the Watchful Eye, a user must first take out a loan on the Aave protocol. When the user comes to the dashboard, they can see their total debt in ETH, their total collateral in ETH, and their loan health factor, or their Aave health factor. Just for the viewer's sake, in our wallet, we have 10 DAI, which we borrowed from Aave, and we have 10 A-Link, which is our collateral on Aave. So first, the user has to specify the details of the position that they hold on Aave. And as we showed a minute ago, the debt we have is in DAI. The collateral we have is A-Link. And we have 10 DAI in debt. And let's liquidate one A-Link if we cross our threshold, because that's worth about $25 and that'll cover the debt. And let's say our debt price limit for DAI is usually around 1. Let's just put 1. And let's say that when the link goes below $28, which right now it is, we want to go ahead and liquidate. So let's configure the eye with the information. That just adds that information to the Watchful Eye contract. Confirm. Then we have to approve of the eye's intervention, which just means that the smart contract can move around the collateral asset. So go ahead and confirm that transaction. So after we've approved and set up the Watchful Eye, we can actually go to the Watchful Eye contract, and we can go and look at the Watchful Eye. Here's the Watchful Eye. And it's not really human readable at the moment, but that's just the way that it comes back from the blockchain. So now that we see that the smart contract has the Watchful Eye that we created a second ago, we can check out the price oracle. And the price oracle, as we said before, monitors the current price of the debt and the asset and compares it to the Watchful Eye's set price limits. So let's go ahead and start that oracle up. So we see that the oracle pulled the Watchful Eye, saw that the price was below the limit, started to liquidate the position, and then successfully liquidated the position watched by the Watchful Eye. And now that the liquidation is finished, we can verify that that debt was paid off in our wallet. And would you look at that? We no longer, we have one less A-Link and 25 more DAI. So we paid off the initial debt and had a little bit of DAI left over. And aside from what we saw in the wallet, if you check the Aave user data as shown on the dashboard, we can see that that loan was in fact paid off. And this is the Watchful Eye. And the Watchful Eye is always watching.
Thanks for watching.
That was 3 minutes 46 seconds by my clock, so you're well under. All right, let's keep it going. Judges, what do you want to say?
Look, very quickly, it's definitely a needed use case. Of course, I see good product market fit. Maybe, of course, you can iterate on the usability, on the UI, but of course, that's something that can be polished later. But it seems well functioning. It seems on spot on.
Thank you.
It's better if I turn on my mic, right? I've seen a good amount of progress since your last presentation, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also good luck for the next few days for finishing up and polishing the product. As Nicola said, there's good product market fit for that. I will still say exactly the same advice in terms of UX. You should really consider not asking or asking the least amount of information to the user, because everything that you need to configure the Watchful eyes is actually on the blockchain. So you can just get user account data, you do a Web3 call, and you will retrieve directly if the user has a link or whatever amount of collateral, what is the collateral, what is the debt, what is the asset of the debt, and just ask the user, when do you want to basically execute the trade? Because at the end of the day, it's a take profit or stop loss when you look at it in the eyes of a trader. And just configure that part, just let the user configure that part, and everything that you can do on behalf of the user, do it directly. And that will be like just a much better UX.
Okay, thank you.
And the UI, like I love the design and the what should I narrative. Like it's super cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Yeah, and so I don't really have a ton of feedback other than I appreciate that you're using Scaffold ETH. I know a bunch of people have found this useful for helping them to get a little bit further on their UI without having to, build their own from scratch. So I'm sure Austin would love to hear any feedback you have, if there is some. Anything else? If not, we're going to move on. Thanks for presenting. Like I said, this is pretty close to what judging will be, except you'll have a few more minutes. I think there'll probably be one more judge, 3 judges per, maybe 2. But either way, this is very similar to what it will be on Monday and Tuesday, depending on when you've signed up. So thanks, Watchful, for showing us what you've been working on. Next up is Malice, and I'll let you just go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
So I took you guys' advice last time, and I actually created a flow chart showing how funds flow through the application. I did, because my demo is basically finished, right? But you guys said I should have created a flow chart showing how this application actually works. So you want me to show the flow chart? If that's fine.
Yeah. So this isn't going to be your final video submission. You're just going to walk through some of your work so far?
Yes. This is not my final video submission.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I'm going to still time it just so we stay on track for people. But yeah, go ahead and do a quick run through, and we'll give feedback on that.
Okay. So basically, the way the application works is, so in step 1, imagine Peter has a hot dog stand, right? And he basically wants to accept Ether as payment, right? What Peter could basically do, he could deploy a store, right? And by deploying a store, he could use it to attract crypto paying customers to his hot dog stand, right? So in step 2, he's going to deposit $100 worth of Ether into the store, right? And for simplicity's sake, we're going to assume that the price of Ether remains constant and it doesn't change during the process. In step 3, Peter is going to stake $70 worth of the Ether out of the available $100 balance that's on the store, right? the reason why he wants to stake $70, right? Because rather than giving a discount on his goods and services, which is the hot dogs, he could stake $70 worth of Ethereum, right?
Hang on a second. Are you showing a different screen? Because all I see is 7% cash back.
Oh my God. Shit. Oh, wait,
No worries.
hold on. Wait, let me stop sharing. This is, let me
Don't worry about it. Demo days. This is why it's a demo.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
training. Yeah,
I
perfect.
don't know if I should start over real quick. Let me see.
You probably should start over.
All right. So in step one, right, Peter has a hot dog stand. He wants crypto paying customers to come to his hot dog stand and pay for Ether, right? He's going to deposit a store. In step two, right, Peter's going to put $100 worth of Ethereum into the store, right? The price of Ethereum is going to remain constant. In this scenario, we're going to assume that it remains constant and doesn't change, right? In step three, out of the $100 worth of Ethereum that's deposited, right, he's going to stake $70 worth of Ethereum, right? And the reason why he wants to stake $70 worth of Ethereum is that rather than giving a discount on his goods and services, by staking, he could still achieve the same effect by attracting customers to his business rather than giving a discount. And it's important because I'm going to show you why it matters in the future. So in step four, right, the amount of the $70 worth of Ethereum that is staked, right? So imagine that three friends came to Peter's hot dog stand to buy, let's say, $1,000 worth of food, even though that's a lot of food. The reason why they want to go to Peter's hot dog stand now is because they want to get 7% cash back on that $1,000 that they're going to spend in terms of Ethereum, right? So the thing is, Peter doesn't want to give back $70 worth of Ether right away, right? So the $70 worth of Ethereum is going to be locked up as collateral, right? And there's going to be a new token that's going to be minted. That's a 1-to-1 ratio with the amount of Ether that's locked up, right? And by doing this now, when the Ether is locked up, Peter can't remove it, doesn't have the ability to no longer remove that Ether from the store. But the users, the tokens that they get back is basically going to be a wrapped Ether that's backed in a 1-to-1 ratio with the amount that's locked up. So let's go to step 5. So let's say at some point in the future, there's some disaster, a hurricane or virus or something, some unseen event, and Peter, business is kind of slow, and Peter needs those funds that are locked up as collateral, right? What he is able to do now, he's able to say that, hey, I'm not accepting back those tokens that I gave out, right? And when the users come back with those tokens and respend it, the collateral would be unlocked and given back to Peter in his business, right? And let's go to step 6 now. So this is where things start to get a bit interesting. So imagine that Peter's business is affected, the hot dog stand is really affected badly, right? The users still have the ability to use that token at a different store. So now imagine that store B is run by Alice and store B is selling NFTs, right? So imagine that Alice previously had $100 worth of collateral in store B, right? The users are able to spend that same $70 worth of tokens that they receive from Peter that's minted in a 1-to-1 ratio. And once they spend it at store B to buy some form of NFT, right? $70 worth of Ether would be unlocked back to Alice, right? And Alice would still have $70 worth of collateral in store B, right? But we still have the, and finally, let's go to the final part, which is step 7. So in case 7, right, Peter still has the $70 worth of collateral locked in his store, right? But he still needs those funds, but his business is too badly affected where nobody don't want to come back. Users don't want to come back and spend those tokens at his store. So Alice decides that, hey, there are more circulating supply of those tokens in the market. So she's gonna put up $70 worth of collateral relief at a rate of 30%, right? By doing that, what Peter is able to do, right? He's able to make a trade with Alice's store, right? Of the $70 worth of collateral that he has, right? By making a trade of about the 30% that Alice put on the $70, right? Peter would lose $21 worth of Ether. It would go to Alice's store, right? And that $70 that Alice put up as collateral relief would be locked as collateral, and $49 worth of Ether would be available to Peter. And by doing this, we maintain that all the tokens that are minted in the system are always backed by Ether, right? So users always have somewhere that they're able to spend the Ether, whether it's by buying NFTs, whether it's by going out to a restaurant, buying clothes, wherever anybody is able to create a store. It doesn't even have to be a valid business. Anybody could create a store. And this is how basically, and all of this could just happen just by scanning a QR code and paying for something with Ether. All of this is able to happen. And that's...
All right, cool. That was a bit over, but I'm sure once you start to make your video, you'll be able to trim it down.
Yeah, I would be able to make it shorter because I basically have a demo already. I just gotta finish another part of the UI, but this is basically how it works. Users would have to use ENS names to name their stores. So I would be able to go online, say, for example, I go to Germany. I'm in Germany, I'm in this city. I could search, okay, let's see who's accepting Ether in this location, right? And then I could find places where I could spend my Ether and get 7% cashback, right? Without the use of a card. It's completely peer-to-peer, just by scanning a QR code.
Gotcha. Why don't we move to Nicola and Mark if you have any feedback or questions?
Look, quick one. It's definitely helpful to see the diagram and the flow chart. Last time I think we all struggled to explain and understand. Yeah. There is a very interesting vision behind it, for sure. The one thing I am not concerned, but something to think about is the fungibility that you want to, in a sense, like provide for the network that you're building. So that's not going to be super intuitive for the masses, right? So I see the vision, and I see that a sort of like iteration of these crypto networks can take off. But think maybe about how easy you can integrate the stores and the fungibility, not really technical, but on a qualitative way, like to make understand that people can go to one store to another and mint, and it's a little bit heavy lift on a consumer side, right? At the end, it's not very clear what's the benefit for them. So I would try to make it as clear as possible for all the participants in the network. What are the the benefits of doing this? Because it sounds not super easy or light to do in a click, right?
I mean, this is like the technical flow, but it's very simple for like the customer, because I'm just able to like search. Say, for example, I'm interested in a restaurant. I'm in this area. I'm able to search, for example, let's say New York City, this street. Let's see who's running a store. And I'm just able to go there and just scan a QR code, pay for something with Ether. And the tokens that I receive back are backed by Ether 1-to-1, right? And it's 7% of what I spent, right? It's backed 1-to-1, and I can assure that it's backed 1-to-1 because the Ethers that's locked up by the merchant, they're not able to touch it. The only way it's unlocked back to them is if a user actually comes back and spend the minted tokens. The minted tokens are so think of the minted tokens as something like DAI, right? They're backed and they're able to trade between different users, right? And they're essentially an ERC20 token, right? Think of, they're basically a form of wrapped ETH. That's what they are, right?
Okay. Gotcha.
The merchant, the benefits of the merchant is that you don't have to give a discount on your goods and services. You could stake and still achieve the same effect by not giving discount, but in terms of some future event where your business is struggling, that amount of ether that's locked up, you could always say, hey, I want to unlock back those tokens that I locked up in the initial stages.
Mark, do you have anything?
One of the things, like at the core of the project, is that I do believe that Ether is an asset and DAI, for example, is a currency. And it's not exactly the same thing. Like, I don't believe that there's a future. I'm not part of the Bitcoin maximalists that think we all gonna pay in Satoshi to buy stuff and make our groceries. And I think it's gonna be the same thing with Ether, because at the end of the day, an asset, we usually don't pay with like financial assets or stuff. I don't buy a car with a Tesla stock. If I want to buy a car with like a Tesla stock, I sell the stock into a currency that I use as a medium of exchange to actually buy the services or the goods. And that's why, and on top of that, the good thing we have with inside the Ethereum ecosystem is that we have the stable coins. And basically, I'm much more confident that there's a future that more and more people pay with DAI, USDC, or whatever stable coins they want to use. And in the eyes of the customer and the shop owner, they don't have to expose themselves to highly fluctuating assets. Mm-hmm. And also, stablecoins are much more borrowed in DeFi. So if your shop owner, for example, instead of just staking or whatever they do with the ETH, they do exactly the same thing, but with DAI. I think that just the passive income of the DAI deposited will allow to slightly maybe generate over time the cash flow that is needed to back your local currency, the free tokens, one-to-one, and basically have some kind of monetary supply that increase according to the interest of the deposits of the owners. And because having local currency, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in France, it's quite big. Like there's a lot of local currency within the city, within the area, cultural stuff. Yes. But there's definitely a use case for that. I just think that a stable coin to be used at the core of your product would be much more easier to implement and also to adapt for all the actors involved.
So the thing is, each store is also able to accept other currencies, for example, like USDC, DAI, and so forth. The problem at the core, however, because I did research and try and doing it with a stable coin at first, but at its core, one of the main problems with the current ERC20 model that all stable coins have, right, is if I'm supposed to make a payment, right, currently the transfer function, right, it would just transfer without having no formal way to actually check to see if there is enough collateral to back what would essentially get minted. But with Ether, the interesting thing is that you could have a fallback function that would be able to check that, right?
Any smart contract can implement a fallback function. So ERC20 is a standard, but on top of the standard, you can build whatever you want. So if you want to have a fallback function, so a method that doesn't have a name and just execute whenever you send some money to it, You can obviously do it with a ERC20 token. It just the ERC20 just means there's a standard. This is like the core stuff you need to be named a ERC20 token. But you can add new stuff on top of that.
Yes.
So I don't think there's a technical limitation. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't think there's a technical limitation.
I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but these are both good feedback from Nicola and Mark. One thing I will say, Warren, is like this diagram is a good step from the last time we spoke, but it's still like if this was on a slide, it's still too many things going on, and the text is too small or there's too much text. So for your submission video, try to condense this, take this one step further, and cut down the amount of text. Try to get it down to like bullet points of what happens at each step. And that will help judges, really quickly scan over all these parts of your project, and then it'll give them a better understanding. So less text, and try to make it a little bit larger where you can. And remember that it's going to be a single slide, and you're not going to be able to zoom into it.
Okay, so have like each step on a single slide and just.
No. It's good that it's all together, but I just need, like for example, Store Hub. Make that larger to occupy the full box there in step 6. That's just one suggestion. But then these large blocks of text, I'm not going to be able to read that if I'm seeing this in a presentation. So try to, trim it down, condense it where you can, and that will help a ton for legibility for whoever's judging you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We're going to move on to the next project, but thanks, Warren. It's good to see progress from the last time, and hopefully you'll be in my judging session. I can see, the next step of improvement in a few days. All right, next up is Revert, and I'm going to let you guys just start it. I'll time it just so you have an idea of how long you're going, but you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, sharing my screen.
2. Well, not add. I will subtract D from that, and then.
Okay, am I on?
Yep.
Okay, so this is our landing page. So Revert is an analytics platform for liquidity providers and DEXs. So you can connect your account with MetaMask or Portis, but for this demo, we're going to use the very notable Nubi.eth account. And so what we're doing right here is first it gets any historic position, which is really easy from the Uniswap subgraph. We're just doing Uniswap for now. But we go and also like query the blockchain and see any event pertaining to those historic LP positions. So like the mint, the burns, any transfers. And from this, we build like the historic and complete position of the account. So we can see here like the dashboard. And
hey, Wario.
Yeah.
Really quick, can you just start with a 1 or 2 sentence summary of what the project is?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Revert is an analytics platform for liquidity providers on DEXs. So like, I think that's I don't know, like a 1 sentence definition.
Perfect.
But
yeah.
So like this is the dashboard, right? Then so like these are the open positions. It looks pretty bad as this is the total P&L for the open positions. But if we toggle here for like the historic exited positions, we get a really different story. Like this is the current open position, and on the left side we see the metrics that are pertaining to this specific position, like the current assets, what was invested or withdrawn, possibly the difference between what's invested and withdrawn, any possible staking rewards. And on the right side we see what's pertaining to the pool itself. So like the volume for the last 30 days, the reserves, the volume to reserve ratio, which will inform how what kind of fees you can expect to get per dollar invested, the prices for each of the assets, and the price divergence between those assets, which would inform what kind of divergence those you can expect. And in the position log, you can see all the relevant transfer. And you can see here this this position was staked at some contract, but part of the work we have to do is like detect what type of ABI the contracts conform to. We have like a few. This one is clearly there's some rewards that hadn't been computed for this position. But if we go, for example, to this one, which was also staked in 2 different contracts. We can see that it correctly computed like the sashimi and sushi rewards, which would show the important difference. Like pool P&L is only the returns from the positions from like what was getting computed from fees and possible diversion loss, and the total P&L includes all the rewards and also possibly all the gas costs. And you have like a little index of all the relevant transactions. And if you go to pool history, you can get a much nicer visualization of the same metrics, which are really pertaining to the pool itself. And so from that, you can get an idea if you should maybe exit your position at this point, or if it looks positive given the volume to reserves ratio and the price divergence. And yeah, just have like an historic log of all your exited positions. These are exited positions, so the asset value is 0, but you can still get the pool and P&L computed given what was originally invested and what was withdrawn at the point of exit. And like there's a lot much work to do, but like this is our minimum viable product using only Uniswap for now. We will be adding other pools. We will be adding other features like notifications. Like it's important to maybe be aware once you're getting close to either going negative in your P&L or otherwise, and once you the price divergence comes back to a point where you want to exit at a profit. So that's the idea, an analytics platform, but also to be to give you very actionable information with regards to what you want to do with your positions. And I think that's it. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, that was 40 seconds over, but totally possible to trim that down. Let me stop your sharing. Yeah, so good job. You're pretty close to the time limit. One thing I recommend is like you have a lot to demo, but it's always good to start with, like I asked you, the name of the project, a couple slides that just have the name of the project, the summary of what problem you're solving, and or rather like the solution, the problems that you see for your specific users, and then how you're solving it, and then you jump into your demo. It doesn't have to be more than 30 seconds. You can just do it.
So you recommend adding a couple of slides then before the demo?
Yeah, it's a good way to just get everybody accustomed to what you're actually attacking, and then you jump into your demo. Another thing you can include, I'm sure you probably have a few things here, but what some features that you weren't able to include, or things that you didn't get to finish, but you'd like to continue working on, like have that as the last slide at the end of your presentation. But I think you're like 85–90% there. This is a pretty good overview. I'll let Mark or Nicola take it up if they have any feedback.
Sure. Look, I agree. I mean, it's to me even more than 85–90% there. It's very impressive, Vario. Good job. It's very useful. I liked it a lot. With my I would say business and crypto network mind, I always think of where it could go, and starting with the product, going into business, going into a crypto network that can attract powerful network effects. So what I would suggest you to think, it's yes, this is a very good product. There is a strong use case. It can be on top of, you can pool more than be on top of other protocol, but you can pull from one DEX and whatever. One thing I would like to ask you is, can you combine the position? I don't know if I missed that. Can you actually combine the position and have a P&L overview of your portfolio, sort of? So it kind of becomes like a portfolio management tool, which is very powerful. But it's it's different from Zerion and Zapper. Like this one is more on literally an overview of what you're holding and the risk that you're managing. So think it more like a risk management tool for like a LP and stuff. Yeah, so can you combine the positions? If you
Yeah,
want to?
yeah, it's the first, like, it has like a total aggregated position. You
Okay,
can
the
toggle,
total. Okay, okay.
you can toggle between like the open positions only or your like historic exit positions to see like your P&L
Okay.
either just for the open position. But yeah,
Okay.
and you're exactly right. Like this is specifically for LPs and not like a general wallet tool. Like just to manage risk is a good way to define it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, so total position, I didn't know if it was referring to the like total of one position above all portfolio. Yes, I mean, there's so many things, and think about it also, I don't know, you can have a link for, you know, option protocols, and you can hedge it by itself, and it's very, very powerful as a tool. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to share that I'm impressed. You gain yourself a new user, and I hope you have good servers, because I will share it around. So expect a lot of connection in the next few hours. And during your presentation, I tested, and it's actually on mainnet. It's working right now. It's an actual working project. There's still a lot to do and to improve, obviously, but it's a fully fledged project as it is today, and it's completely impressive what you managed to build. And what the challenge I can see for this kind of project is how to maintain and keep the flow of new asset to watch. And that will be, I think, the most technical challenge, because right now, I have the sense that you are doing a bunch of ETHGlobal call. So basically, when I connect my wallet with my MetaMask, you basically say balance off, balance off, balance off, and then just ask for everything that is inside your whitelist of LP pools. But if the guy has like 200 different pools with like many transactions, it will take like 10, 20 minutes to load, and it's and servers are not cheap. So I don't know if you sell host or how it works on your side, but it's quite a challenge. And also there's new tokens happening like every hour. So how to keep up? Did you think about this aspect? Do you want to open source your backend so anybody can do a pull request and basically do the legwork to add a new asset to monitor? Just like, for example, VFAT. I'm thinking of VFAT tools that is doing like some yield farming monitoring as well. And they have this model. So everything is open source, the GitHub is public, and if you want your protocol to be supported by VFAT, you can build the pull request yourself.
Yeah, so first there's currently no backend. This is all JavaScript talking directly to like
so it's
nodes.
Client side. So everything happened on
client side, but you bring another important point though. Like you're absolutely right. Once you get to like these accounts that have 100 positions, it'll take a lot of time. So having a backend then that can like catch those type of accounts, so it's faster. Yeah, it's like definitely an improvement that we plan to make. I think you asked something else that I'm forgetting right now.
How do you handle because the project is very interesting, but in order to work, you will have to constantly monitor new pools. So it's quite a technical challenge. I think it's possible technically to do it automatically, but at some point you will need to do some curation because you have the ambition to, for example, monitor if this token that is linked to a farm, is there some claim rewards? But not every single token is a fork of Uniswap, which is a fork of YAM or whatever we had this summer. Some token and some project have like not very standard way to claim reward, to stake, and all this kind of stuff. So what did you think around this area?
Yeah, you're exactly right, man. I wish everyone was using like the original synthetic staking rewards contract, and it will make my life much easier. But yeah, for now, like it's gonna be like a sort of like a cat and mouse game of like determining the different ABIs. Like right now, we have 4 or 5 different ABIs which we can and some are used by a lot of different pools. But you're right. Like it is like a constant work. I'm hoping eventually the industry will like converge in some sort of standard with regards to that. But yeah, like open source is definitely something we are considering. It would be ideal if we could somehow make it so that people can contribute like those like ABIs that are specific to their own project without necessarily requiring to open source the whole thing. I mean, I love open source, obviously, being in this industry, but like strategically, like for building a company, I'm not sure if we're ready for doing that. But maybe there's like somewhere in the middle where we can just like expose an interface where the farms can like add their unique ABIs or something with that regards. Yeah.
Well,
And
anyway,
thanks so much for the kind words, Mark. That's so happy.
Congratulations, and I really hope you keep working on it after the hackathon. I continue.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing some good feedback from Mark and Nicola. Victor, if you're ready, I will let you start, and I'm going to time you. Are you going to share a demo video, or what's your plan here?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm sharing.
Okay, I will start the timer once you go.
Hello, I'm presenting future salaries, a fair way to pay salaries to scientists.
Looks like we lost sound.
I don't have the sound. Please try again.
Victor?
Hello, I'm presenting future salaries.
Why don't you, could you maybe give me the can you give me the YouTube link and I'll play it? I think what happened is you didn't share your audio, so it's coming through your speakers and then going into your mic. Or you can try to share it again. Victor, you can either send me the link or you can try to reshare it by, one of the things you have to remember to do is there's a little checkbox in the bottom left, and it'll ask you to share your computer sound. I think that might be the issue.
Yep.
I can't tell if you're waving to me or you want me to check DMs or something.
He's also muted. Can you unmute him, Tran, or?
Yeah, I have. Victor, you want to try and?
What we can do is to take the next team and then go back to Victor. Don't worry, Victor. You will have your time to shine.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So who's next? Haciendas, do you want to try and share? That would be Lucia and Javier.
Hi. Yes, so it's me and Javier. I think he is, yeah, he's here as well. So our project Haciendas is an in-browser game. So Trent, do you have the video link? Maybe you can just play the video.
I can find it, but if you have it on hand, that would be quicker.
Yeah, I'll just send you the link. So I'll send it just to everyone, just to a chat.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's on there.
Okay. And you'd like me to share this?
Yeah, if the audio is better, sharing from your screen.
It would be the same either way, but I have it up so I can do that for you.
Are you new to DeFi?
Is that coming through, or?
Is it the audio is a bit
Yep.
low?
Yep.
The volume.
Feel free to increase the volume as well.
All right, here we go.
Not seeing anything on my side.
Yeah, I
Really?
think you have to start it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, did I switch to the wrong screen? Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's a practice day for everyone, you know.
Apparently.
I can try to share my screen. Oh,
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and try it, it's actually good practice for you as well.
okay. Okay, let's see if this will. So go back to the start. Okay, so let me know if the volume is the audio?
There's no
okay?
audio.
There's
no audio.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Jen, I think you will have to share this. I think
Yeah, I'll try it again and make sure I'm actually on the right screen this time.
Okay.
We could see the screen. It just
The audio
the
wasn't
video.
coming?
The video didn't start.
Yeah.
It was just
Previously,
still.
it was
Isn't
frozen.
that Zoom that is trying to prevent to have another source of audio?
Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it would do that for me. I think I have all my settings properly.
Victor, we are seeing your message. We basically
How to make a
Still no audio?
yes, we do have audio.
It's
Let's
working.
do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool.
And Victor, we saw your message. Your turn is just after. Don't worry.
transaction. Do you find it hard to wrap your head around token swap and liquidity pools? It's so confusing, it's even been called weird DeFi. No one really knows what's going on. You're not alone in being confused, and Haciendas is here to help. In the magical world of Haciendas, you can meet and chat with other DeFiers. You can chat with other characters and trade tokens with each other. Haciendas offers you a simple and intuitive chat interface to chat with your friends and make new ones. In the game, you have assets stored in your inventory. Use them to deposit, swap, transact, and borrow. Not only can you see how many tokens you have by opening the inventory, you can also drag them around for making real-world transactions. Not only can you chat with the other players, but you can also transact with them using real cryptocurrencies. Simply drag, drop, determine your amount, and send. If you'd like to exchange your tokens for some other coin, you can go visit the market and swap out ETH for DAI, or several other coins. We've leveraged the power of 1-inch exchange, so you can easily exchange your coins for others with the least possible hassle. We hope this video made you want to learn more about the exciting world of DeFi, and we're happy you're starting your journey with us. Try it out today.
All right.
Thanks, Trent. So yeah, that was our demo video. And just a quick note on that, we're still working out 2 more key actions. One is the governance feature. The other one is, I think, token swap. So we will be adding more content to this video and expanding sort of like what the game can offer. So this video is work in progress, is not complete. We'll also edit it to be more fluid. So in the beginning, it was a little bit, like the pacing wasn't right because we were like very tight on deadline. But yeah, so this is the idea. And yeah, let me know how I can present this better if you want more introduction on what this is about, the roadmap and stuff.
Yeah. It sounds like you have you already know what you have to add to this. It was not enough knowledge. I want to know everything about this project. You've given us like a tiny sliver, and it seems like a really cool concept of.
Thanks.
I really want to open up a medieval pawn shop for Aave there with like a small ghost that act as a teller, and you can deposit your die, and the small ghost will give you a die in exchange into your inventory. Let's do this together.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe just like some background on why this game was created and what we're trying to solve. Is that the format of this?
Yeah. You can do that now, but definitely you'll want to include that in there's a few slides or just like a little bit of preamble before you do a demo video.
Oh, so you actually want that information in a demo video as well?
Yes. Yeah, that would be good to have, because when this is going to end up as part of a project showcase. So when somebody goes to look at your project, it's good to have a little bit of background in the video itself.
Yeah. Okay. We'll add that. Yeah. So our target audience are people who are new to DeFi, so they have some sort of basic understanding of cryptocurrency, but they're not anywhere near proficient at using different DeFi apps and different protocols. So there are 3 pillars of this game that tries to solve that problem, kind of bringing innovation to people who are used to conventional banking apps and conventional everything. So what we see is like the gap between DeFi, where everything's very abstract and use a different mental model, and what people are used to for money being very visible and tangible and even very social. So we're adding 3 things to help people learn. So basically, to teach people how to use DeFi protocols and to make it less daunting for them to start using these tools. So we're making it more social. So the feature where people can walk around, meet virtually other users and have a real interaction with them before swapping tokens. So that's the social aspect. We're making it more visual for users to see how token transaction happens, because oftentimes when you're doing a transaction between wallets or sending it into the ether, you don't really see where it end up, and there's no visibility into the back end, the system. So so just having that interactivity on the front end for them to drag and drop the tokens, it appears and disappears from their inventory, add more realness to these transactions. And the other thing is just make it more fun. So the game idea is to make it less boring, just instead of looking at strings of hash and digits up to 12 decimal points, we just make it a bit more dummy proof, in a way that they can still learn different protocols in a way that kind of prepares them to start using Aave or Uniswap or all kinds of DeFi apps. So we are adding the governance feature to it. So in the governance feature, they are able to vote on proposals in a very kind of fun and visual way, that they're literally voting on pieces of paper in a town hall building. So that's the idea.
I think this is really great. I'll echo what I said before. Is it's a really cool concept, and we've only seen a part of it. My one question is, would this make more sense on a test net if you're trying to? Is it more an educational tool, or is it an interaction space for people who are already in DeFi? Because if you're trying to get somebody to learn how to use these protocols, it's pretty tough to do that on mainnet currently, especially if somebody's just learning about this stuff, and then they go to make a transaction, and it's the transaction cost is more than the actual amount sent. So
exactly,
I would strongly suggest, if you can, not by Sunday, obviously, look at doing this on a test net or a sidechain like Matic. I think that would really help the educational tool aspect of this, but I love the concept.
Yeah, I think it is currently living on the testnet. Yeah, and the users get like fake ETH. Obviously,
Okay.
they're not going to have to connect their real wallets. So that's another way for them to feel like they have some confidence to start doing stuff without or having to learn how to set up a wallet. But Xavier can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think we're also using Matic. Oh, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, like to have a integration of QuickSwap, for example, on Matic, and just enjoy the game. Like as this kind of game, and the targeted audience, at least at the beginning, will be people just discovering crypto.
Exactly.
You have like on ramp, for example, with transact directly on Matic, so you have almost no transaction fee, where you can convert a small amount and have it directly inside the game. So that's probably an integration that might be interesting. And then just use like in the market QuickSwap and do everything on a sidechain directly from day one, because it will kind of ruin the user experience if you try to do it on the settlement layers these days.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Guys, quick feedback as well. I like it. It's interesting. It's a sort of like two different vertical crossing roads. So it's very appealing. One thing, I risk to sound like a broken record, but that's also my role, I guess, here. Always think about it. Yes, it's a cool product, it's something fun, but also is it like it can be a business? Is it investable? Does it accrue value? Can we, pack economics on it? Can we attract users? So always at least have on the back of your mind all those additional metrics that will help you make it more fun, more interesting, more attractive, and more valuable as network effect.
Yeah, definitely. So when we were thinking about the business model is, this game, when we're presenting it, so the demo project is branded for Aave. So there are Aave branding elements. They're trading Aave tokens, AUSDC, and they're going to use the Aave governance protocol to do the governance stuff. So what we're thinking is that this can be kind of like white labeled for different kind of DeFi projects. So say if, I don't know, SushiSwap is trying to onboard new users, they can use this game as kind of like their onboarding process before they start.
Just charge me some rent for my shop, my Aave shop in the game. I will pay some rent. Don't worry about it.
This is genius.
Yeah.
Very, very good concept.
Yeah, but I'm sure there are other ways to monetize it if people actually start using it, and then when we can see which features engage users the most, that's other monetization opportunities. But right now, what we're thinking is just white label.
Yeah, look, monetization is especially on the vast majority of the conversation that we have with very early like pre-seed or seed stage. It's not really the focus, right? Because users, usability, UI traction, that's the most important things. We also saw massive like multi-billion company on Web2 that didn't know how to monetize, and then all of a sudden it just turn the page and they do monetize and they fund it. So it's not a priority. It's more, I see it in crypto and on the blockchain sphere, it's more about something sustainable. It like crypto is about economics, right? And crypto economics. So like if it's fun, if it's cool, it's gonna just last until it's cool, something else. But if you build some economics behind it, then it's going to be more sustainable. So don't really focus on we need to find a monetization right now. It's not needed, but think about sustainability of the network. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, super. I don't want to cut the discussion short because there's a lot to go over, but we do have 3 more projects. So
Sure.
we're going to move on to the next one. Thank you, Lucia and Javier. This is a really cool project.
Thank you.
All right, round 2, Victor, you want to try and share? We'll get this going.
Hello, I'm sharing again. I think this way, this time it will work. I'm starting to share. Hello, I'm presenting future salaries, a fair way to pay salaries to scientists, free software developers, maybe journalists, etc. I will show the demo. Here is the demo. Anybody can register for a salary. Pressing just one button. Suppose I'm registered. Here I have tokens on account, tokens paid every second, you see every second, and a mean to withdraw by a single MetaMask transaction. Anybody can donate. If we press this button, we see Gnosis Save, where we can choose the date. The donations will be transferred. And can pay in Ether or token. I have even a, sorry. Gitcoin version of my software, a module for Gitcoin. I'm showing it. Now I'm switching to the presentation. Future salaries project, prediction market of prediction markets, or how to hire Google to create an oracle, how to finance science and free software, transferring money from the future, how to hire search engines to do the job for us, how to use the prediction market to stimulate the market to create oracles for us. Prediction markets. A prediction market is, here is the definition. The traders tend to buy a conditional token if they expect that an event happens in the future. So prediction markets aim to transfer value from the future to the present. A prediction market could be a good tool to determine salaries of scientists. Make salary determined by a predicted score in the future, for example, after 100 years. A promising student could receive the same salary as an established Nobel Prize winner. We can receive future donations in 100 years and pay this money now, huge salaries for us. The big trouble is that somebody needs to pay to develop and run oracles in the future events. I'd like Google to do it for me. If we want Google to do it for us, we need to create market that will pay for Google. My market will pay to search engines. Or it's decided by votes. So in this diagram, during 100 years, after 100 years, so I made a DApp, you saw it, that pays every registered user 1 token per second. Everybody, including himself, at any moment can request to recalculate user's salary, that is to create a new token for him if he changes the job, retires, or dies. The mathematical model of transfer the money from the future and more in my scientific article, paying salaries to scientists using prediction markets on blockchain. Thank you for your attention. Please, questions? I've finished.
Cool. Yeah. You're definitely under time. So if you want to like add maybe another, let's see, it's less than 3 minutes. So you have another minute if you wanted to expand on things, just so you know. My first feedback is you might want to consider putting the slides before the demo. That way people can have a better understanding of your project before you start, you know.
I did consider, but decide it's best to show how it works first to see what it is for the user. How easy it is to use it.
Okay. The other thing is you had a slide with a diagram that showed, you know, the relationship between people making markets and then people receiving payouts, but you were only on it for a split second. So maybe stay on that slide a little bit longer, just so judges and anybody looking at the video can understand the flow of Ether through the system a little bit better.
I understand, but I don't think it would be better because the diagram, it would take too long time to really analyze the diagram. It would take all the time. Just show that it exists.
I think it would still be helpful to have, you know, you stay on it maybe at least for 10 or 15 seconds Again, you have extra time. You're well below the 4-minute limit, so I would stay on that graph a little bit longer and just try to explain the flow of funds. But it's your choice whether to do that.
I'm afraid it takes entire 4 minutes to explain. It makes no sense. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I would still recommend that, but it's your choice how you want to present the project. Nicola or Mark, I'll turn it over to you.
Look, very quickly, it is definitely more organized and clear than the previous time. I still see a little bit of jumping from paying salary, going to scientist, Google. I don't know. I didn't really get the reference that you have on Google at some point on the slides. And then one suggestion I would give is keep it as general as possible in terms of use cases. I understand that you have, this interest and pathos for paying salaries for scientists, but I would keep it more general just to, the common audience to understand better and
yes.
Yeah, the common audience people to understand better. Also, more versatile as application. So that's my feedback.
Do you mean to say paying salaries to common good producers instead of saying paying salaries to scientists? Or what do you mean?
I mean, it seems like that, if you say paying salaries to scientists is just, that very specific niche, but maybe can be broadened to a larger scope, no?
Let me explain these
I agree on
details
that.
right now. This system is very appropriate for paying salaries to scientists and software developers, free software developers. It also may be good for paying salaries to journalists, but I'm not sure. And an important thing, it's a good thing for paying to open source and all open access publishers. But to enumerate the full list takes much time. I decided to focus on the...
True. Look. Also, since we are on crypto and blockchain, the developer and open source, I would say, salaries use case is pretty strong. So,
what use cases?
Like you said scientists and developers, right? So,
right.
Of course, I would probably shift on to developers since you will find so many developers interested right into the model. Maybe they can contribute.
So you recommend to say paying salaries to open source developers?
Well,
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, if you think about who is going to attend, right, Mark? What do you think?
Support to open source software. Let's say Wario that did a super great project just before. I want to support him for X amount of DAI per month, and it's paid like every block or every second in increments. For as long as he keep doing a great job at Revert Finance. I think a tool like yours can be useful in that case.
Oh, we have very different accents. I'm Russian. You are probably from France.
I forgot. I forgot you don't understand what I speak. Don't worry, it's all right.
Mark is just Mark is echoing what Nicola is saying, that it might be a good use case to consider open source developers. So yeah, I think I agree with Nicola and Mark as well. Maybe you can consider describing it to a broader audience, not just scientists. Like I know you did mention developers or journalists. Maybe it could be broader than that. It's like just public goods, paying salaries into the future.
The hard part is that the quality of the work needs to be measurable. Scientists' work can be measured. Free software developers' work can be measured. But how to measure journalists, how to measure whatever, I don't know if it's possible.
Well, I mean, if it's subjective, or if it's by the community of people who get value from it, wouldn't they just be able to measure it themselves?
It is, excuse me, I told it, it's measured by future search engines. Traders predicted how it will be measured. There is prediction determine the price now, that is the salaries. It works this way.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess they could all fit into that model roughly.
Repeat.
Any other comments or suggestions?
I need community review of my project. It would be better if I publish it on mainnet without first getting a review from many people. I'm trying, but it's hard to get a review.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're doing now. We're giving you some feedback and some comments.
Detailed review of details.
I don't know how deep we can get in this session, but at the end of the hackathon, you'll have a showcase with a description, you know, this video that you've produced, and maybe that will allow some people.
I mean detailed review after reading all the details, how it works. Maybe not all the details, but my article, my white paper needs to be read before giving any comments. It makes no sense to comment without in detail without reading it.
I don't know if it's a reasonable expectation that people should read the white paper before understanding the project.
It's a very unusual project. It's impossible to explain in short. I explained in short, but not in details.
Okay, yeah, just keep in mind that for judging, it will be like you already made a short video, so it's going to have to be explained in the short video. Judges aren't going to have the time to read a long paper.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on to the second to last project, which is Liquidify. Morris, are you around?
Yes. I mean, I don't have a video available right now. I just wanted to roughly discuss my idea, which is I'm basically just following the escrow protocol and trying to have more multiple people join, perhaps like a flash loan or just get a collateral debt.
Do you have slides or anything that we can look at concrete?
I can let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically it's I just want to expose the flash loan, and at the point of the loan, I'm trying to have it so you can have multiple people and also multiple assets. You know, basically it's been done before, but I was thinking that after the loan is put in and you have before it's paid back, perhaps you have multiple users in an escrow, and before that loan is paid back, they could put it in a pool and get interest on that.
Okay, so are you looking for feedback on your general concept?
I guess just the general concept, because it's very slow on my process. So you know, it's one thing once you have the loan and then you have that period before you pay it back. So I'm wondering if it's feasible to have multiple users join, put a deposit in, and then attempt to maybe arbitrage that before the loan is paid back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't have a deeply technical background, so I might have to outsource this to Mark or maybe Nicola. Yeah, I don't have any comments on the technical part parts of this right now.
I think it's more a technical question to unlock yourself from this situation. And I don't think the current session is the best match to have this kind of discussion and to go deeper into it. So what we will do is that please add me directly on Discord and I will create a group with you and we will fix that together. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But let's talk about the project and the back-end side of things. We will solve that at a later point. Let's try to have this section about the project in general.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to take advantage and
so why don't you state the concept of the project really simply in 1 or 2 sentences?
I guess facilitating an escrow and then having multiple people join in and then perhaps apply the loan, a flash loan at that point. And then during the loan, deposit that in a lending pool to earn interest. I guess that would be very quick before the loan is paid back.
On the technical side, that's not an option because there's no time concept within a flash loan. A flash loan is a transaction that starts with borrowing some funds, do some stuff with it, and then sending back the money. And everything happened at the same time from a technical perspective. So as there's no time frame, there's no accrual of interest. So if you take a flash loan and deposit some money into Aave and then withdraw that money and pay back the flash loan, you are guaranteed to lose money because the flash loan is not free. There's a flash fee and there will be no actual accrual of interest. So your gains for that operation will be 0.
What about putting it into a pool?
There's no time frame. Everything happened at the same time.
I guess it would have to be before a loan. In other words, you just have a bunch of people to give you that you'd be able to have more collateral if you have a larger group.
There's no concept of collateral in a flash loan. So you don't need, it's 0 collateral loans, the flash loans. So yeah, having a DAO with like 1,000 ETH in it will not change the situation of the flash loan at all. And I think that's a discussion we should have after the session. And to get back to all the Aave protocol works, I will be more than happy to support you on that. And David as well, which is not present today, but it's also his job to support you on that side. Don't worry about it.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, to echo Mark, I don't think, I think you may have a misunderstanding of how flash loans work, in that you can't use a flash loan to gain interest in depositing a pool because it's never actually in the pool. It goes in and out within the same block, so there's no interest to accrue. But yeah, Marcus and some of the other Aave team members are probably best suited to walk you through that, or look closer at your code in the Discord. Nicola, did you have any quick comments?
No, I mean, I guess on this aspect, Mark is your man. And, you know, when you gravitated to the pool and sort of, it sounds like the multiple parties wanted to run a strategy together, but yeah, it didn't really make sense with the timing of the flash loan. So I was actually confused myself, but then Mark took off the doubts from the table. So that's it for me.
So what about just an escrow, a straight escrow? I guess that would be like 3 parties where one person would monitor that escrow amount that multiple people would have deposited. But I guess there would have to be you know, a reason for that, someone to be paid back. Yeah, I was just thinking to see, you know, just to group the funds together first or during the loan, but of course not during the loan because it's too quick. But I guess group the funds first and then pool them together, gain interest. Yeah, I guess the loan would be.
That's also
something that someone could pull out on their own.
So if you want to pool funds in order to take a loan together, your only advantage to do that will be like the economies of scales of doing one borrow transaction instead of 3, for example, or X amount. And you may consider that you will save on transaction fee doing that. But the thing is that setting up the smart contract vault in order to set up the funds, depositing there, then initiate and execute the transaction from the vault to borrow, and then distribute it back the fund to the user will, I'm quite sure of it, cost you way more in transaction fee than just do the action separately. And if you consider any individuals, there's no difference of benefit in DeFi in general. If your position is $100 or $100 million, you will pay probably the same rate. Of course, there's the liquidity available in the reserve that will change the interest rate depending of the available liquidity, but there's no direct advantage to pool funds and borrow together, unless that's the main use case. So there's a community that want to pool funds together to borrow in order to fund a project together. That might be a use case.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, definitely follow up with the Aave team. They are experts in anything flash loans, but that's probably best on Discord and async.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to the final project, which is Guardians. But before that, just a quick reminder for everybody, submission is Sunday, February 7th at 11:59 p.m. So basically midnight. You got to get in your stuff before that. Because directly after that, we're going to be reviewing videos and leading up to it, making sure people have good sound quality. They didn't speed it up. We want to make sure that judges can understand your video. So we have some guidelines that we've put in the Discord. Please make sure to check those. If your audio is messed up or there are any other issues, we will ask you to re-record, because otherwise the judges will not be able to understand what your project actually is. But yeah, so remember, Sunday, midnight Eastern is the submission deadline, and we've already got about a good chunk of the projects coming in. So that's good to see. If you don't have it, you still have a few days. And if you need feedback, please reach out to anybody on the ETHGlobal team. We're more than happy to provide video feedback. Emily, is there anything else that I missed?
No, nothing specific. Yeah, I guess, but everyone here has got their videos kind of on the go, just to make sure to put a lot of effort into those videos, because that's like a true showcase of the work you've put in this past 3 weeks.
Right. And the other thing I'll mention is judging is, you can sign up for a slot now. The judging is going to be Monday and Tuesday of next week. You're not obligated to, nobody's required to be judged, of course, but it's a good way to get feedback in a structured setting from people who work full-time in the space. And if you're interested in that feedback, that's how you're going to get it, is by signing up for a judging slot. Okay, we're going to move on to Guardians. Mohammed, if you want to go ahead and share. Are you going to be just talking about your concept, or do you have a demo?
I will be just talking about the concept. We're still working on the demo, but we have like some codes, and I have like a diagram to explain the project.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So just before I want to talk about the project, Guardians of Wallets. So the idea was to solve the problem of recovering wallets. I know it looks like a little bit far from DeFi, but we introduced DeFi to this project as well. So we have been thinking, and there have been a lot of solutions, like storing it with your family member or delegate it to an institution. But we went for a very different approach. So the idea will be a user connecting to our application, and he can actually ask to store his password. What's going to happen next is his phrase will be split it into multiple pieces, and our smart contract gonna get random guardians to store his key. So how it's actually working, once the split, the seed phrase are splitted, they are encrypted with the public key of the guardian chosen. They are chosen randomly We're using Chainlink to generate some random numbers to match people that we gonna, the guardians that they're gonna hold the password. And then we encrypt with a master key. This is very important. This is the only password that you need to remember. Once this is done, we're sending all these things off chain. And the guardian will receive an alias. For example, for me, I'm gonna name it C Cucumber, and then he will have C Cucumber and one seed phrase encrypted with his public key and then with a master key, and he need to store it. And then we generate a token for him, which is a one-on-one token that he will be earning interest on. And every time this user come back and ask for his password recovery, we will release the prize or the award for storing this password. Of course, this is a payable service. The second part of it, which is very important, the question is like, what happens if he lose the access to our application? We give him the chance to store the guardian list in IPFS. So it's going to be like C Cucumber, and this is the user, the public key of the address of people holding my password. And it's going to be a redundancy because maybe when we want to retrieve the password later, one of the guardians cannot answer, or he no longer have the password. So we have redundancy as security. The same thing happened when you want to recover it. So you just come and ask to recover your password. You send like the master key, which is encrypted for each user. So it's going to be encrypted by the public key of each guardian. And then you send it to the smart contract. And then the smart contract needs to forward that to the guardians so they can send you your password. And then there is an acknowledge. It's like an agreement that could be signed, so we can release the token for them. That's the idea. I hope that it's clear. And yeah, if anybody have questions, the backend is very simple. It's an invitation sent to the guardians who want to activate to accept it. They need to accept it, and then we have like the list of guardians and everything else. Just for this demo is happening here. All the encryption is happening on JavaScript side. So all in the split and encryption of the word is happening in JavaScript. This is just for the demo. It's not going to be on like that. We have like a backend, and yeah, that's it. If you guys have a question, please don't hesitate to ask.
Who wants to start?
So the first thing it's on, maybe I missed it, but how is Chainlink involved in this?
We just need some random. We just like, for example,
the VRF.
Oh, okay.
Or
okay.
number, just to get some random numbers, and
Sure.
just so we can choose the guardian randomly. So the idea is that they should not know each other. They should be completely random. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to use, like, I probably say this every session, diagrams are really, really helpful. But if you're going to include this in your slides, I've been recommending people for their 4-minute videos start off with a few slides to introduce the problem they're solving, how they solve it, and then a diagram for a layout. I would simplify this dramatically. Like, it looks like this is a technical diagram where you have your functions and stuff in there. Try to get a normie friendly version of this for people who might not be technical. That would be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I think, yeah, that's, I think we already have a simple one as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, just generally the concept is good.
Yeah, please go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, the concept is good. Not everybody can be expected to self-custody. And I think the middle road is some sort of recovery scheme like we've seen in Argent. Or even Gnosis is kind of along that. The Gnosis multi-sig is somewhere along that spectrum. So it's a worthwhile project. Mark or Nicola, do you want to have any feedback?
Look, very quick before Mark can really add much more on the technical side. It's interesting. There is definitely a market. It fits in between existing solutions. I would like to ask you about how you envision it. Is it a standalone application, as you said, or you want to be on top of different solution? You want to be like white label? You want to be a sort of like how do you envision the final product to look like for the user, and where the users can actually interact with it?
So yeah, that's a very good question. So we basically thinking to deploy this on Matic blockchain, because we want low fees, and also we're having a lot of transaction happening off chain, especially when we handle the seed phrase, even that it's encrypted by the public key. But it's for now we're discussing that it's going to be a standalone application. So
okay, gotcha.
But definitely, if there is anybody, any sponsor who is willing and interested to integrate it, I'm just thinking any wallet who want to integrate a service like that, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's the main product market fit. Actually, having one of the existing wallets to directly sponsor or buy the technology or whatever. Like you can still have it open source, but the implementation and the know-how to implement it on behalf of wallets could be something very valuable. Like in our ecosystem, it happens quite a lot at the end of the day. It's quite interesting. I have to say it's quite a twist, because usually recovery scheme you are based with people you know as guardian, and you introduce this context of randomization to have like people you absolutely don't know as guardian, and that might be interesting. I would need more information on what is the incentivization scheme for the guardians to actually do their work and keep your data, because I'm not a good guy. If you give me like some data to someone, which is just a chunk, a file I have to keep on my computer, I will forget about it 3 days after and just never think of it again. And if there's some kind of incentivization, that might be interesting. Yeah, this kind of things.
We were also thinking that he can actually put it on IPFS as well, since nobody knows about this guy. It's not connected. You know, he's gonna just put like all his private storage seed phrase in one place, and once we need him, he can come back and call it. Otherwise, he can always put it in a habit or cold storage as well. But the motivation will be really the award, because he's sitting on an award. He's earning interest on his Aave token, but he cannot get him unless someone asks to recover the password. So if you don't have the password, and we have redundancy, remember. So if we come and said like who has the first, for example, the first part, we send it to the first person, and if he don't have it, we're going to the second one, right? So this is the motivation. So it's like a proof of work kind of. So if you don't give me back the password, you're not getting paid.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for your work.
Of course, thank you.
Sounds good.
J'ai pensé à le faire en français au début, mais j'ai dit c'est bon.
I was actually impressed that you know that Victor understood my Italian English better than your French English. there was no explanation to me, but
it's all right. But there's a lot of French today in the session.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Hello, Xavier.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And probably we're going to wrap up everything and have a video ready. And please don't hesitate to contact me on my Discord. As met, I mean, it's going to be nice to have more feedback.
Sure. So quick question, Trent.
Yes.
On Monday and Tuesday are like twin session. How does it work for Monday and Tuesday?
There will be a bunch of sessions. You're not obligated, unless you've been signed up for some of them, which you probably have. You will only be in like one per day, I think. So, if that. But you should have a calendar invite that will bring you to it.
Okay.
I think we're gonna wrap up here. Sake, I see that you added your name, but if you don't mind, we can just, I want to be sensitive of people in Europe, Nicola and Mark. I know Mark is there, so it's getting later for him. So I think we're going to wrap up here, but I can have a one-on-one session with you where I review your stuff as well. And then Benson, you had asked a question, just DM me and I'll answer that in Discord. But again, thank you to Mark and Nicola for not only showing up to this session, but the previous weeks. It's been a huge help getting hackers ready for submission. And we can't wait for Sunday and then judging next week everything's going to be wrapped up next week on Thursday, I believe, is the big finale where we'll have the finalists come. We'll have a big live stream, and it's going to be really great to see, which projects really pushed towards the end and got an amazing product out of this. So thank you again. I appreciate your help, Mark and Nicola.
Sure, it was fun. Learned a lot of stuff from the project and also from Mark. Extremely valuable comment as with Trent as well. Thank you, guys. Speak soon.
All right.
Thank you.